B, not EARP.
Yes, Mr. Dameron.
Shut up. A bully boy gunslinger from Kansas has been hired to wear a star in our city. This fella, Herb, has just attacked 2 honest cowboys and thrown them into jail for some harmless high spirits on Allen Street. How long will the honest cowboys of Pima County allow these outrages to go on?
Mr. Cameron?
My name is Dameron. Can you read or spell?
Very well, Mr. Dameron. My name is Earp, E-A-R-P, not E-R-B. And for your information, these honest cowboys were Clanton men. They got drunk and shut up Allen Street.
I'm not afraid of you and your guns. I'm a newspaper man, and I'll tell you something.
Go ahead.
Those cowboys got drunk on puka. You know what puka is?
Yeah, it's a Mexican drink.
Yes. And this newspaper happens to know that sutlers from the Indian Bureau are peddling the stuff. 2 of them are over in the Mexican Quarter.
Well, I didn't know that.
You know it now.
And I'll catch up to them. That's my job. And someday your lies are going to catch up to you.
But the epitaph printed the truth and made journalistic history. Wyatt had assumed that even though it opposed him, the Nugget would be fair in routine dealings. But he learned that very few people in Tombstone were fair about anything.
All right, friends, now step up here and let's get a little bit of this polka. Yes, sir, friends, a little bit of polka's worth a whole quart of whiskey. Thank you very much. It's a drink for men, for real men. Come on up here and get your whiskey. Let's go,
Hold it. Hand up a cup of that.
Is it too strong, Johnny Law?
You boys got a license?
No, sir, we don't.
You know there's a law against selling liquor without a license? You're under arrest.
Well, we're just trying to pick up a little eating money until Mr. Clum gets here.
Who's Mr. Clum?
Well, he used to be the Indian agent over at the San Carlos Indian Reservation. That's where the Apaches are, and he quit to start a newspaper in Tucson.
Yeah, and then he had to sell out, and he's headed here.
To start a paper?
Well, we don't know, but he'll start something. He's a real man.
Oh, he sure is. Me and Shorty figure he'll get us jobs here.
He's a newspaper man, huh? I'd kind of like to talk to him before he hits Tombstone.
Oh, well, me and Dave, we know the trail real good. We can show you.
Oh, we sure do.
You boys are still under arrest, remember?
Well, guiding you is a lot better than sitting in jail, right, Shorty?
That's right, Dave.
You boys got horses?
Oh, yes, sir, we do.
Oh, we got 2 of them.
Let's go. Hold it. Leave that here.
There's a rider coming, and fast. Mr. Clum, howdy.
Shorty. Hey.
Marshal Earp, this here's Mr. Clum.
Howdy, Mr. Clum.
How are you, Marshal?
I could talk to you for a spell. Why don't we sit a while in the shade?
All right, Marshal.
This ruffian Herb then allowed the sutlers to escape the toils of the law. In fact, he was last seen riding the Tucson Trail with the puka peddling miscreants. Puka peddling miscreants. Good.
Anyway, that's about it, Mr. Clum. Selling liquor without a license. Only a misdemeanor, but the Nugget will blow it up into a big holler and try to embarrass me.
Yeah. Shorty and Dave aren't bad men, though, Marshal. Matter of fact, they're the only honest settlers I found in the entire Indian Bureau.
Well, I just can't let them off scot-free.
Oh, no, of course they gotta go to jail, that's for sure. What do you say, about 10 days?
Well, now, that sounds reasonable.
Shorty! Dave, come here.
Yes, sir, Mr. Clum.
You boys gotta go to jail for 10 days.
All right.
Well, how about getting us a job when we get out?
Well, I'll find something to do around Fresca to Tombstone. You can work for me there, okay?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Clum.
Yeah, thanks. Well, like I said, Marshal, they don't come no better. Right, Shorty?
That's right.
You know, Marshal, I still don't know why you want to do battle with that bunch of pirates in Tombstone.
Why did you?
Don't you know that half the Arizona Territory's in the hands of renegades?
I'm beginning to find that out.
You ought to try printing an honest newspaper sometime. Like I did in Tucson, they almost busted me.
Well, the 10% ring in Tombstone isn't quite that powerful.
Powerful enough. Old man Clanton's a local boss. Did you ever meet him?
Several times.
Or didn't he scare you?
Mr. Clem, if a lawman doesn't live with fear, he sold himself out. Now, what we need in Tombstone is a real frightened newspaper editor.
Well, I'm frightened enough, Marshal, but no thanks. I've served my time.
Well, all I ask you is to take a look at one issue of the Nugget.
Fair enough. No newspaper can be as bad as you paint that one to be. Quiet. Have you seen that paragraph? There. That's criminal libel. You ought to arrest that man.
Dr. Halliday, what do you think?
Jail's too easy. I'll pay Dameron a visit.
Well, wait a minute. I think I'll take Mr. Clem's advice. I'll arrest Dameron.
Wait a minute, Wyatt. Make this a federal case. This newspaper's got subscribers in New Mexico and Colorado as well.
If he uses any bad language, add that to the charges.
Go on.
You made the mistake of your life, young man.
Won't be the first time.
How long do you expect to hold him, Wyatt?
Not long. His lawyer's late now. It's probably him.
Which one of you is Herb?
Neither of us.
I mean Earp, Wyatt Earp. I understand you've arrested Mr. Dameron on some trumped-up charge.
Well, sir, the charge is criminal libel. Are you here to put up bail?
Naturally.
$500.
500? Preposterous. Did Judge Griscom set the bond?
No, sir, I did. It's a federal offense.
Who says so?
I do. I happen to be a newspaper man. The name is Clum.
Clum?
John P. Clum.
Oh, yes, I've heard of you. Huh. $500.
Furthermore, you have attacked the sacred freedom of the press. You think this is going to hush me up? Look, I will speak and I shall be heard.
Horace Greeley said that first.
And as for you, Drum or Plum...
The name is Clum.
Well, whatever your name is, you probably think you can start a newspaper here. Well, I dare you. I defy you. The Nugget will put you out of business in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, sir.
Mr. Dameron, it's late.
Easy, Mr. Clum. You just start another paper and put him out of business.
Oh, Wyatt, I couldn't raise the necessary capital.
All Mr. Clum needs is $3,000 to add to his own capital. Now, I'm sure we won't have any trouble raising that, but the big problem is trying to convince Mr. Clum that his newspaper would have the support of all the decent citizens in Tombstone.
And advertising support, too. Now, I can get the advertising if you men can get the money.
Oh, we ought to be able to do that.
What about it, Mr. Clum?
Wyatt, you're new to Pima County and Tombstone. The Nugget has the solid backing of all the insiders. You're not asking me to just start a newspaper. You're asking me to go to war.
Well, I'm in it myself, sir.
Yes, I know, Wyatt.
Mr. Clum, listen to this. The Nugget hears that a renegade Indian agent who was erstwhile publisher of a dirty scandal sheet in Tucson has come to town with the intention of starting a newspaper. The Nugget's faithful readers will know how to deal with this corrupt Yankee sidewinder, John P. Clum. A good dose of tar and feathers and a ride on a rail
Let me see that, Miss Nellie. I don't know. This is incitement to riot. Wyatt, you ought to arrest this man again.
All right, Mr. Clum. I'll arrest him again. If you agree to start another newspaper.
By Joe, you got yourself a deal.
Good.
Now we're getting somewhere.
What are you going to call the paper, Mr. Clum?
Well, I don't know. This is Tombstone, and, well, every tombstone should have its epitaph.
The Tombstone Epitaph. I like that.
I do, too. It's a good one.
Duck, it looks like you can start collecting the money, and Wyatt, you and Fred can put Dameron back in jail again.
Well, that'll be a pleasure.
Oh, no, it won't. There'll be trouble. This'll be war, you know.
I agree with Mr. White about the war. Who's going to enlarge my hospital? Hire me an assistant.
Well, the Citizen Safety Committee. Wells Fargo.
Miners.
The ranchers.
Why don't we sit down and make a list of possible
That's a
donors?
good idea.
Boss says to give you 100 for advertising in the new paper.
Good. I knew we could depend on Gagan.
Well, waste of effort if you ask me.
How's that, Jim?
Well, Clum's shipping his press to Benson by train, ain't he?
Yeah.
Then it's got to be hauled by wagon over here, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, the talk is that it ain't never going to get to Tombstone.
Thanks, Jim. I depend on you as much as I do on your boss.
I checked Nellie's tip. I have to guard that ore wagon all the way from Benson to Tombstone.
You're getting mighty careless in the use of that collective now.
Well, you're my deputy, aren't you? Where's that star I gave you? Come on. Put on your clothes and your guns.
For a newspaper man?
That's right. We need Mr. Clum. And the epitaph. All right, then do it for me.
Who else is going?
That was Mr. Clum and Dr. Goodfellow.
Dr. Goodfellow, why?
Because he donated $250 to Mr. Clum's loan, that's why.
Well, I donated 300.
Well, he's also donating his good gun hand.
Well, then I'll donate 2 gun hands. There ain't no MD's going to be superior to me.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Wait till I get my gun or I'll be killed.
See no printing press. Ain't nothing but the driver and his whipping boy. This ought to be easy.
Think they've got a whole newspaper shop loaded on that wagon?
Uh-huh.
Old man Clanton said break it up. Good.
All right, boys. Let's go get it.
Any sign of the Clanton crowd?
Not yet.
Old man Clanton's heart won't be in this fight. What would he do with a printing press?
That's just what I told Wyatt.
Get set, here they come.
Remember, we let them stop the wagon and dismount. Then we shoot low to stampede their horses.
I hate to christen the epitaph for blood, Wyatt. Maybe we can scare them off.
Too late. Hold tight, Mike.
We just want to bust up your freight.
Help yourself, Dongo. It's insured.
Now.
All right, Mike, let him roll.
Round up the horses, boys. We'll finish this in Tombstone.
That'll do, Wyatt. Well, it'll have to do. Not a man in Tombstone had nerve enough to rent me a building.
Yeah, you won't need a building until the rainy season, John. By that time, you'll be able to build your own.
Use those printers of mine long about now. You don't suppose anything happened to them, do you?
No, they're probably over in one of the saloons getting themselves a cold beer. Take it easy.
I'm as jumpy as a cat in a bed of khaki. Now, let's get to work.
Mr. Herb.
Howdy, Miss Emma. Excuse me.
Sure, Wyatt. Marvin, give me a hand here.
All right. Well, I haven't seen you since the day at the ranch.
Well, you wouldn't be seeing me now. Only I have a message for Mr. Clum.
Would you like to give it to him?
No, you tell him. Tell him to get out of town. Tell him we don't need another newspaper here.
Who says?
My papa says.
That does it, Marv. Thank you. Wyatt, I didn't know you had a lady friend.
I don't. That's old man Clinton's daughter.
Oh?
She says you ought to get out of town. Well, that's how Clinton operates. Tries to scare you first.
Who's scaring you, boss?
Now, where have you two been?
Drank a little beer in that fine saloon across yonder.
Well, I should have known. I'd like you to meet Wyatt Earp. Wyatt, this is Mr. Soren and Mr. Reppy, my printers.
Howdy.
With his whole staff and he knows it. Come on, Rep, let's set up the press.
Wyatt, that's the way a newspaper gets born.
Want to strive some steaks, sir?
This mule knocked the fella down, stole the carrots, and he had to chase him all the way back to town.
Gentlemen, I think we should start the epitaph off with a speech from our editor, Mr. John P. Clum. Now, they tell me that up San Carlos way, he controlled 5,000 Apaches by just his personal leadership. Mr. Clum?
Well, thank you, Miss Nellie. But 5,000 Apaches were Sunday school children alongside of some of the more notable citizens of Tombstone.
There's no justice, Rep. We gotta stay here while the boss has a good dinner over at Nellie Cashman's.
That's pretty, ain't it? Let's get out of here.
Let the other stuff go. Let's put down the press. I hope that type's covered. Yeah. Another box. Let's see if we can save the type. Where is the type? It's in that box. Get out. Well, we got more outside. All right. Let's get the press covered up, though. Right. Hey, boss. There's a boss. She's all ready, boss.
All right, Mr. Rebbe. Let her roll.
Clanton told you to wreck that press with crowbars and sledgehammers. All you do is start a little fire.
Old man Clanton and the boys got called out of town on more important business. Two of us couldn't do much.
What's more important than keeping Earp and Clum from printing another paper?
$10,000 in silver bullion on wagons heading for the Benson Depot.
Oh, I see.
The ink's a bit watery, boss, but here's the first copy.
Thank you, Irish. Wyatt, would you like to see what I was writing last night?
I'd be glad to. Truth crushed to earth shall rise again. The eternal years of God are hers. But ere wounded, rise with pain and dies among his worshippers.
That's lovely.
If the Tombstone epitaph must someday end publication, its editor hopes the last word spoken of this newspaper shall be, it told the truth. Yes, in spite of suppression, terror, and death, we would wish that men remember the epitaph tried always to tell the truth. To earn such a memory is always difficult. Truth is often concealed, twisted, tormented, and denied. But the epitaph pledges that from now on...
Wyatt.
Yes, sir.
I just turned those settlers loose. Their time was up. Well, Dameron and a couple of gunslingers grabbed them in the birdcage bar.
I'll handle it. You stay here, sir.
Let me see that first edition. Ah, that's beautiful. Beautiful.
You men knew Clum at the San Carlos agency. You worked hand in glove with him.
What do you mean by that?
He was a thief. He stole money from the government and from the Indians.
Well, that's a lie. Right, Shorty?
That's right. He quit because he wouldn't stand for the graft.
I'm not arguing with jailbirds. You sign these affidavits or you take what's coming to you.
Let me see it.
Well, that's a parcel of lies.
It sure is, and we ain't gonna sign it. Right, Dave?
That's right.
It's your decision. All right, boys. Work 'em over.
Mr. Dameron tried to get us to sign this against Mr. Clum.
That's right.
All right, Mr. Clum's waiting for you boys to go to work for him.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah.
Now, see here, I've got some rights. Take your hands off me. I've got rights of my own private. Oh.
Now, you print that in a nugget.
Whoa, Papa, now cool down.
Hush up.
Count it, Finn. Count it! I'm so plumb mad I can't see straight.
$2,000.
That's for you all boys. But you gotta kill Shotgun Gibbs first.
Right here in Tombstone?
Right here, and I'll tell you where he is. He's over in Pat McGeehan's livery stable.
Are you sure?
He's in there, currying that mule. One more thing. Kill the mule, too.
We'll get them both, Papa.
Helped John Clum start the Tombstone epitaph because he wanted an honest newspaper. His next move was to try to elect an honest judge. Wells Spicer, lately arrived from the East, was chosen to run against Judge Griscom. And since Griscom was allied with the Clantons and with the infamous 10% ring, beating him at the polls would not be a political fight. It would be a battle with fists and guns, for which the term dirty politics was too mild a name.
Tombstone, 2.5 miles. Well, Roscoe, old boy, we're finally getting there. Well, there ain't no use in you going and laying down your ears like that. You know we agreed to come on down here and help Marshal Herb. Yeah, I know. There ain't no peace in Tombstone, but there wasn't no peace in Wyoming either. So, by George, you just behave yourself and get on along there. Don't give me no more of your trouble. Oh, go down, Roscoe. Not too close. Roscoe don't like strangers.
You call that Cannon Roscoe, friend?
No, friend. Roscoe's my mule. The 10 gauge ain't got no name.
He ain't as bad as he looks, Hank. How'd you like to earn $10?
What doing?
Voting 10 times tomorrow.
Who for?
Judge Griscom. Ask him, does he know how to vote?
Yeah, you just asked me an insulting question like that, and the 4 of us are gonna tangle.
4?
Yeah, me and my mule. He's better than a strong man in a rough and tumble. Bites and kicks harder.
Sure. How about it? You want to earn that $10?
Well, I ain't got no objection to voting 10 times, but I ain't even a resident of Tombstone.
Well, here are your credentials. Title to a city lot and a hotel bill at Nellie Cashman's. We think of everything, friend.
Is that so? Well, there's one thing you ain't thought of.
What's that?
The $10.
Well, how do we know you'll vote? No, that's all right. Never mind. Here's your $10.
Well, I'm much obliged to you. Let's go, Roscoe.
Man, is he green. Just the way we like him.
I never made a political speech in my life. I'm just telling you medical facts. Nate Griscom has a heart like a chicken's gizzard. It's my personal and professional opinion that Nate has rocks where his brain ought to be. Now, the only other thing wrong with Griscom is that the sand in his craw is plain mud. That's what I think of Judge Griscom. I don't know Wells Spicer, his opponent, professionally, but if Mr. Spicer was a yellow dog, I'd vote for him against Griscom.
Well, Roscoe, I guess that's about the best political speech we ever did here, ain't it?
Well, that's all I've got to say. Vote for Spicer!
Shotgun. Hello, Wyatt.
Shotgun, good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Roscoe, how are you? Best mule in the whole world. Mind if I kiss him?
I sure do mind. I don't figure it'd be too manly either of you.
I won't kiss you, but it sure is good to see you.
Oh, it's good to see you, Wyatt. Listen, you got an office around here so we can talk a spell?
Inside, come on.
Well, that's about it, Wyatt. I took a bribe to vote 10 times for a man whose heart looks like a chicken's gizzard. I guess I better go look up them scamps and give them their $10 back.
No, sir.
How's that?
Mr. Gibbs, there are 10 precincts in this town. I want you to take that money. I want you to vote for Judge Griscom in each of those 10 precincts, just like they wanted you to.
Yeah, just hold on, boy. You ain't changed, have you?
Well, little. See, Tombstone's a lot rougher town than Dodge City ever thought of being. I'm up against a sizable crowd of outlaws here.
Them Clantons? Mm-hmm. I told Roscoe that when I heard you had pinned on a star. Speaking of stars, where's mine?
It comes after the election. We're trying to get a crook off the judge's bench.
What do you want me to go down there and vote 10 times for Griscom for?
They're going to play rough. We're going to have to play rough. I want to try and catch Clanton and Judge Griscom in an election fraud. You hang on to that phony title and the hotel bill. We'll need them later.
Oh, I get it. I'm going to be your stool. Is that it?
Well, I hope it works out that way. It really won't be illegal. I'm swearing you in as a special deputy. What about Roscoe? He had his supper?
That mule can wait. I ain't had my supper.
Mr. Gibbs, the big battle starts tomorrow, and I don't want you to be a marked man yet. You're going out the back door to Nellie Cashman's hotel. I'll take Roscoe on over to the stable.
I told that mule, I said, White's going to be in trouble, I said. Well, that's all right. Trouble's better than peace. Because it still proves to me you're your own man.
Dr. Goodfellow, you and Miss Cashman, Mr. Gerd, you know this town, the miners, a lot better than I do. Now, if you think challenging illegal voters at the polls is better, then I'm all for it. But I think the best strategy might be let Clanton, Griscom think that they're stealing the election and then get them for it.
Wyatt, excuse me, but Spicer isn't here. You don't suppose he's been bushwhacked, do you?
I'll let Dr. Goodfellow tell you about that.
Well, Spicer has ethics. He wouldn't beg votes for a judicial office.
Oh, I see. Yeah, he's a good man.
Well, I just hope that you and Spicer know what you're doing, Wyatt. I won't order my miners how to vote, you know.
Well, I think Wyatt's right, but I think we ought to put the matter of tactics to a vote.
Let's have a vote. All those in favor of watching the polls, raise your hand. All those in favor of Marshal Earp's plan?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Good.
We'll let the Clantons stuff the ballot boxes. Fine. Since Miss Nellie Cashman is our election clerk, she'll have possession of the boxes.
Well, there's one other thing, Dr. Goodfellow. The election judges, they should know every person that's entitled to vote. Who are the judges?
Well, Mr. Gerd, me.
Well, that's fair enough.
Well, then, gentlemen, I move that we adjourn.
Good.
Good
Good night.
Doctor.
Good night.
Thank you very much.
Good night, Miss
Good
Nellie.
night.
Good night.
Wyatt, you know those Clantons aren't going to let us count those ballots without a row.
Well, Dr. Holliday and Mr. Gibbs and I, we've kind of thought about that.
Excuse me, Roscoe's done already ate, and I ain't.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gibbs. Wyatt, you take him in the dining room, and I'll go roust out the cook.
Thank you, ma'am. Sure is a nice lady, ain't she?
Yep, she sure is. Even the outlaws trust her.
Oh, Mr. Clanton, sir. Welcome to the Nugget office.
Evening. How many votes we need for Judge Griscom?
Well, I'd say 500 extra would do it.
500?
Yes, sir, Mr. Clanton, to be real safe.
All right, 500.
Would you like to see the editorial I'm running?
No, I'm too busy. All right, sons, let's get at it.
Wyatt, we're ready to go to press.
Yeah, so's the Nugget. Did you write that piece we were talking about?
There it is.
Yeah, this is fine. The people need to be warned about election fraud. It is a felony.
Well, I don't think that'll stop the Clantons, Wyatt. You think we stand a chance?
This time, yes. Old man Clanton, he's so used to stealing elections in Tombstone, he'll be careless.
I think you and Fred White should have some more deputies.
Shotgun Gibbs is a fine deputy. If I can just talk Dr. Holliday into helping us, we'll be all right.
I wonder if you're right about not having a deputy at each polling place.
Mr. Clum, you know elections. Just because an election is stolen doesn't mean it has to stay stolen.
No, you're right, Wyatt. But I kind of think we're just whistling in the dark. Good night.
Good night, John.
Judge Griscom's court orders appointing 10 of you election judges, 1 to a polling place.
Well, the rest of the boys be here, Papa.
Well, I told them to drift in 5 or 6 at a time. You, Finn.
Yes, Papa.
You keep an eye on Herb and see he don't come snooping around.
He better not.
You go with Finn. He might need help.
Sure. Goodbye.
I am Circuit Judge Griscom.
Why, sure, Judge. How many ballots you want?
Just one, young man.
Only one? How's the election going, Judge?
The people will speak, sir.
I hope you voted for yourself.
That, sir, is impertinent. Good day.
That old hypocrite. You already voted twice before this.
Here you go, Doc. You're doing fine now. Just one more great big gulp of coffee. Go on, drink it up.
No, sir. No, sir. I'll show you how to wake a man.
Look, Doc, I need you. There's going to be trouble as soon as the polls close.
What's the fighting all about?
Well,
never mind. Don't tell me. I'm practically ready. Let's go find the shooting match.
Thank you, boys.
Well, this is the last one, Miss Nellie.
Thanks, Dick. I'll sure be glad when this is over.
Me too.
Count doesn't start until after supper, you know. Look, maybe you better go get Wyatt Earp.
Oh, shucks, Miss Nellie. Nobody's going to come in here and bother these ballot boxes.
All right. All right, boys, pick him up.
See, it was easy, Judge. Just put a couple on the table, the rest of them here on the floor. Now, you just appoint me special ballot counter along with Tim Riley there.
Well, didn't Earp try to stop you?
We never saw hiding a hair of Earp, Judge.
I think the coward's found himself a place to hide in.
Oh, hush up. Now, stations, everybody. You two stay here. We got a lot of votes to count. Get at it.
Come on.
Judge, you stay here. Doc, you go up the back stairs. Shotgun and I will take the fire ladder to the roof. Check your watches. You allow us exactly 5 minutes to get up to Clanton's window. Doc, you rap on the hall door, create a ruckus. That'll be our signal.
And if there's a guard on the second floor?
You take him if Clanton won't let you in. We'll open the door for you when we get inside.
What about them guards downstairs?
Just have to worry about them after we throw down the ballot boxes. Don't try to catch them. We'll aim for the straw in the wagon.
You got them all open, boys?
Yeah.
Fine. Ooh, there's too many to count. We just make a rough estimate.
Well, now, wouldn't it look better if we had an accurate count, Mr. Clanton?
Well, what do you care how it looks? Clum's papers say we stole the election anyhow. See, I figure about 89 ballots for Griscom and maybe 14. That's enough for Spicer in this precinct. Who is it?
Doc Holliday.
Well, this ain't no poker game, Doc. Go away.
Let me in. I want to talk to you.
Go on. Get away. I'm busy.
Open up this door. You can't lock it in my face.
All right, hold it, Doc. I told you the old man didn't want you.
Drop him.
Let Doc in. I don't want any more shooting.
This won't work, Earp. I got 10 good boys downstairs.
It'll work. Over against the door.
Not a step we don't.
Mr. Gibbs?
You want to stand up alive or be propped up dead?
You watch him, Doc. We'll take care of the ballot boxes.
Mr. Clanton, you all right? Mr. Clanton, can we shoot in the door?
No! Get away! We're standing right against it!
Spicer. Spicer. Griscom. Spicer.
You know, Wyatt and Mr. Gibbs should be back by now.
They're taking old man Clanton and Griscom to jail. Well, Spicer is the man who ought to be here.
He'll be riding in any minute now. Let's finish checking these ballots against the vote list.
Griscom. Spicer.
Court will rise. Circuit Court, Pima County, now in session. Judge Spicer presiding.
Marshal, bring in the prisoners.
Yes, sir. Bring him in.
All right, boys, march right in.
Mr. Clanton, you'll take off your hat, sir.
Sit down.
What are the charges, Marshal?
Election fraud, Your Honor. Mr. Clanton and his son stole the ballot boxes, or their hired hands stole them. And I caught Mr. Clanton and Judge Griscom counting fraudulent ballots.
If the court please.
Yes.
My clients plead not guilty and ask to be admitted to bail.
Bail will be $10,000 each.
Well, I ain't paying it. This big galoot voted 10 times himself. You ain't arresting him.
That true, Marshal?
Yes, sir, it's true. Mr. Gibbs voted 10 times. And I have here the bribe money and the phony credentials he accepted from the Clanton Cowboys. Mr. Gibbs was acting under my orders as a special deputy.
I see. Mr. Clanton, you will pay the bond ordered by the court or go to jail.
For how long?
Oh, it may take 3 or 4 months for the prosecution to prepare its case against you.
3 or 4 months?
The bonds will be posted, Your Honor.
Today?
Well, yes, of course, today.
Good. Marshal, take these men to jail until that bond is posted with this court.
Why, you pasty face.
Please, Mr. Clanton, that won't do any good.
Marshal, if you please.
Always a pleasure, Your Honor. Mr. Clanton.
Court is dismissed.
This is a new day for Tombstone, Mr. Gerd.
Never thought I'd live to see it.
Too soon to celebrate.
A stable of water, Roscoe.
Oh, I always tell Roscoe good night, Wyatt. You run on along to Miss Nellis.
I can't do that. You're a marked man. You took $10 and some very important papers from the Clantons, remember?
You don't think they'd bushwhack me right here in the middle of town, do you?
It's still their town.
Whoa, Papa, now cool down.
Hush up.
Count it, Finn. Count it! I'm so plumb mad I can't see straight.
About $2,000.
That's for you all boys. But you gotta kill Shotgun Gibbs first.
Right here in Tombstone?
Right here, and I'll tell you where he is. He's over in Pat McGinn's livery stable.
Are you sure?
Easy in there, currying that mule. One more thing. Kill the mule, too.
We'll get them both, Papa.
That's gonna be too hard to kill a mule.
Now, that ought to make Roscoe real happy. Now, let's move. There's setups in there.
Sure jumpy tonight. Here, hold these. Get a little more hay for Roscoe, and I'll be right with you.
Let's jump them now. Where they come out.
Come on, let's go.
All right, all right.
You fool! Now we'll have to smoke them out. All right, come on, let's get them.
Save your fire. We'll kick out some boys and run for it.
I ain't a-running.
This is no place to make a fight.
I ain't a-leaving Roscoe.
They'll come out of there. Or burn alive.
Don't make a move, any of you.
All right, drop your guns. Put up your hands.
You two, come on.
All right, pick up these men and take them over to Dr. Goodfellas.
This one's dead.
Take the others.
Now move!
Listen to me, you cowards! This is my town. This is still my town. And no Yankee carpetbagger's gonna take Tombstone from me. I'll live to bury Clum and Earp and Spicer and any other skunk what gets in my way. You hear me?
Want me to take him back to the lockup, Judge?
Naturally. And no bond this time. He goes to jail for 10 days.
Doc, put that gun away. Want to take Mayor Randall and Mr. Clark alive, remember?
Well, if they're in Alhambra, you can bet they're going to have their bodyguards with them.
Well, just wing them if they go for the guns.
Wyatt, if you think you're going to take the man, the biggest real estate thief in Tombstone without any shooting, you've been drinking the wrong stuff. Now, you take the devil's advice just once, huh?
All right, Doc.
Well, there's a picture of a, shall I say, scantily clad woman on the wall behind the bar. And as soon as you make your dramatic announcement that you're going to take Randall and Clark, I'd buy a shotgun here to blast away at the lady. Such a sacrilege will stun every man in the room.
Do you think Mr. Gibbs could bring himself to shoot?
Well, a real lady? Course not. One that ain't decent? You bet I'll shoot.
Yeah, I know, but I'm still a little worried. Don't you worry about a thing. Spicer issued the warrants, that I know. But I doubt that Earp will have enough nerve to serve him. I'm not in here anyway.
Mayor Randall, Mr. Clark, I have warrants for your arrest. All right, gentlemen. Let's go see the judge. Come on. Mr. Gibbs, you handle those boys.
Him in Tombstone. They were steadily outmaneuvered by a gang of political boodlers known as the 10% Ring in Tucson. But Wyatt refused to believe the weight of the odds against him. You can't fight City Hall, as any politician will tell you, but Wyatt was going to fight if it cost him his life.
The court will hold you both for trial. Mr. Clark as common thief and swindler. Witnesses have testified that you sold them vacant lots that had already been sold to other buyers. The official complaint will be land fraud. Order! Order in this court! Mayor Randall, you will stand trial for malfeasance in office. Testimony has shown that you were in of all of his deals.
Your Honor, I ask that these men be admitted to bail.
They may be. $10,000 for Mr. Clark.
Monster!
It'll be $15,000 for you, sir. Order! Order!
You stay here, Finn. I'll do the talking.
Now, Papa, you cool down first.
I traveled 90 miles to get to Tucson, speak my piece, and them political varmints going to hear something. You put your hat on. You're growed up now.
Yes, Papa.
We're losing hold of Tombstone right now. Earp's got himself a newspaper run by John Clum. He's elected a dude judge named Wells Spicer. Now, what are we paying you 10% for? To get rousted around? What's more, them miners have got some kind of committee. They can turn out 100 guns.
Mr.
And I
Clanton,
can't...
please.
How's that, Daniel?
There's going to be a whole new deal in a few weeks.
What new deal?
Did you ever hear of Cochise County?
No.
Well, your part of Pima County is going to be a new division. It's to be called Cochise County, and conditions will be different.
How different?
New sheriff, different judge.
You'll get rid of Earp?
In time, yes.
Time?
Well, it has to be done legal-like. You want to send soldiers in with martial law? Now, we're sending a mighty smooth fellow in to survey the whole situation for us.
Well, now, what's wrong with me? I know the situation now.
Yes, you're wonderful, Mr. Clanton, just wonderful, but, you aren't smooth.
Well... No, I certainly ain't. I see your point.
Yeah, we thought you would.
Well, who is this new fella?
Oh, you'll find out in time. You'll just have to put up with these annoyances for a while longer.
How much longer, Daniel?
Oh, a few weeks. Now, you go on back to Tombstone and have a quiet laugh at those law and order fellows. We're going to have law and order to suit ourselves. And you? You'll be the boss of Cochise County.
Well, now, that's the kind of talk I like. Here's your cut for this month, close on to $5,000.
That's the kind of talk we like.
I want you to unload the luggage, then stable the horses, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
Don't tell me the hotel is that full.
No, Mr. Behan, that's the hospital.
In a tent?
It's the best Miss Cashman can do.
Shocking. I'll have to see what I can do.
If you could, it'd sure be welcome, Mr. Behan.
This is our hospital. Mine accident at the Lucky Cuss. Shaft caved in.
Can't the mine owners do something about a real hospital?
I talked about it, but that's all.
I'm assistant to Governor Fremont. I might be able to do something about a decent hospital.
Mr. Behan, let's discuss this further at dinner, shall we? Be my guest, won't you?
I'd be delighted.
Fine, shall we say 6:30?
6:30.
See you then. Take it easy, Jim.
May we?
I'd smoke them myself if it didn't cause talk.
Dr. Goodfellow, sir. Thank you very much. As I was saying, I think I can get Washington to match whatever funds we raise. Allow me, sir.
Thank you.
Now, who should be on the committee for the new hospital?
Well, Wyatt Earp, for one.
Oh, yes, he's the famous marshal from Dodge City.
And Mr. Gerd to help with the miners. Mr. Clum, he's editor of the Tombstone Epitaph.
Good, good. How much money will we need?
$15,000 if we squeeze every penny.
Well, then we should set the goal for 20,000.
Excellent.
Well, I doubt that we can pry Tombstone loose from even 15.
Come in. Excuse me, gentlemen.
Oh, Miss Nellie, I'm terribly sorry to have missed your big feast.
That's all right, Wyatt. Come in. Mr. Earp, I'd like you to meet Mr. Behan. Mr. Behan is the assistant to Governor Fremont.
Howdy.
This is a real pleasure, Marshal. I've heard of your work in Wichita and Dodge City.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Come sit down, Wyatt. I've got something to tell you.
Good evening, Doctor.
Hello, Wyatt.
Wyatt, the most wonderful thing has happened.
Oh?
We are going to have a new hospital.
That is, we think we are.
Well, that is good news, but...
Mr. Behan's going to help us raise the money. We're going to try for 20,000. Now, I think we can do it. Don't you think so?
Well, maybe if I stay out of it.
Here's to your good health, Wyatt.
Well, let's drink to the hospital first, shall
Yes,
we?
All
the
right.
new hospital.
To the hospital.
Please, Marshal, not with water.
He usually drinks milk.
There's nothing wrong with water. Well, here's to the hospital.
The hospital?
And to Mr. Behan for wanting to help us.
Thank you.
Papa? Finn, did you have a nice trip?
Sis, wait till you hear the news
You
of Papa.
hush up, Finn. Now, you unload the buckboard and stable them horses. Well, now, what's that for?
I'm just glad to see you back safe and sound.
Now, wait till you see what I got. Right here, I got a present for you.
What is it?
Well, open it and see. I gotta get this sand out in my ears.
Oh, it's beautiful, Papa. It's just what I wanted.
Cost me $100. Go find me a drink, baby.
All right.
We're celebrating, Emma. You reckon you can keep a secret?
Uh-huh.
Well, the boys in Tucson give me more than I asked for. They're gonna whack a whole new county out of Pima.
A new county here?
Yeah. It'll take in Tombstone and maybe 10,000 square miles. The only thing I don't like about it's the name. Cochise. I don't like nothing about that name.
Now, who's going to boss this new county?
They're sending a real smooth fellow to work with me. Of course, we'll elect some scallywags to hold office, but your papa, he'll be the boss. Tried to get him name it Clanton County. You know what they said? It'll make folks jealous. Well, go on, put your watch on and see what it looks like.
It'll go real good with this dress. See, Papa?
Uh-huh.
They'll really notice this in town, huh?
Now, daughter, you stay out of town. Things are really going to be popping there. Spicer and Clum and Earp, that crowd, their days are numbered, sis.
Now, just how do you plan to do that?
Well, elections first, maybe. But I aim to take care of Earp myself.
You mean bushwhacking?
I ain't decided.
Not while he wears a star, Papa.
He won't be wearing no star. Promise the boys in Tucson to take it slow and easy. Yes, sir. When you're the boss of a whole county, you have to do things legal, sis. I figure to wait until we get that badge off of him, and then we'll make it look good and legal.
He'll still be a U.S. Marshal.
U.S. Marshal. Hey, I plumb forgot about that. Well, maybe we'll still have to bushwhack him, sis.
Papa. Here come Finn and Ike. You get some rest, Papa. The food will be on soon.
Good morning, Marshal. Good morning. You had a big day yesterday?
Yes, sir, I sure did. What makes you so happy?
This. Read it.
Well, it's from Governor Fremont himself, huh? He promises half the money to build the hospital.
We'll get all of it. Miss Nellie is talking to the mine owners right now.
You sure did a good job, Mr. Behan. Say, do you mind if I start calling you by your first name?
It'd be an honor, Wyatt.
You know, we sure need a honest political operator in Tombstone. You ought to come through here more often.
Thank you, Wyatt. I might be around for quite a while.
No? How's that?
It's a long story.
Come on in.
Going to divide Pima County. Tombstone will be the new county seat for Cochise. And you can be the sheriff if you want the job.
Well, I don't know that much about politics. How'd you find out about this?
The Tucson people had to clear it with Governor Fremont. I was at his elbow. How about the sheriff's job?
They'd never elect me, Johnny. I'm an outsider.
I could get you a temporary appointment. That would give you an opportunity to make a record with the voters. The trouble with you, Wyatt, you just don't think politically.
You mean I arrest the wrong people?
No. But the way you handled the mayor, for instance, they tell me you humiliated him.
Well, maybe.
Not that I hold with grafting. But a man in public office shouldn't make any more enemies than is necessary.
Well, how would you have handled it?
Simple. I would have picked them up separately and at night.
Oh, I'd still have to bring him to trial, Johnny.
But of course. And then...
Marshal! Marshal! All right, don't gabble. Help me get him down.
He did?
Yeah, they jumped us 9 miles out of Tombstone. But I recognize them. Raised their masts to get some air. Are you Wyatt Earp?
Yeah.
Well, just go out to the Charleston Roadhouse and look for Pony Deal.
Clanton men?
You better take a big posse. I better see Doc Goodfellow.
Come on, we'll find him.
Well, this is going to be a bad one, Doc.
What's so bad about the Benson stage being held up? Happens every other week.
You know a man by the name of Pony Deal?
Yep.
Well, he and 3 other men did it. Killed the guard.
It's only natural for second-rate Clanton punks.
You know the Charleston Roadhouse?
I gamble there.
Well, that stage was carrying mail. It's a federal charge. I want to try and take Pony Deal and the other men without a fight.
Back in Dodge, we took him any way we could.
Wyatt's been chumming up with Johnny Behan.
What's that got to do with it?
You like him? I don't.
He's kind of a slicker, ain't he?
Behan had nothing to do with that stage. The point is that I don't want any bloodshed.
The point is, Wyatt, that this country is injuring your brain. They won't fight. Pony Deal wouldn't hold himself up in the Charleston unless he wanted you to come and arrest him. They're setting you up for a bushwhack.
Well, I still have to go after him. Come on, Mr. Gibbs. Shotgun, you wait till we get set, and you lead the horses around.
Pony Deal. A man is stealing your horses.
A horse thief. Come on.
Hey, you!
Hold it right there. Get your hand away from the gun.
Move out here. All right. Come up here. Get on your horses.
Move along, boys.
Try and talk some sense into his thick head, Doc. He won't get 10 miles in Clanton country.
You ought to be hanged, Pony.
What for?
Just because I gamble with you don't signify. A thief with any decorum would have hid out in the brush for a few days.
Come on.
Old man Clanton knows these parts a lot better than you do, Johnny Law.
Dr. Holliday is guiding us.
He don't know these mountains like he knows cards.
So get on your horse.
All right, all right. I'm only trying to save Doc. He's into me for about $90.
Doc, you'll save money this trip.
Yeah.
Said they'd be by this way. Give them a little more time.
Hold him, Doc. Mr. Gibbs, order the prisoners and the horses. I want to do a little scouting.
Did you see anything back there?
Yeah, some fresh horse tracks. We may run into some trouble at the Narrows.
Yeah, that'll be a good place for it. What are you figuring on doing?
I swear Clanton doesn't know this trail, Wyatt.
I think we're underestimating them. Let's put some gags on those boys. Bend down here.
Put your head down. He's got a mighty bad in the neck. Mighty close to the carotid artery.
Did you stop the bleeding?
I don't think so. We better get him back to Tombstone.
No, that's a bunch of darn foolishness. Let me up.
All right, let's clear out of here. We'll leave the prisoners here.
No, I ain't a-going. Yes, you are. Come on.
Too much of this now. You lost a lot of blood, Mr. Gibbs, but you're still alive.
Well, there wasn't no reason for you to let them prisoners go.
There wasn't, huh? I suppose I just could have put a tourniquet around your neck.
Wyatt, I've been shot a dozen times and I ain't dead yet. You don't know what this is going to cost you. You ain't never going to be able to explain why you let them killers go.
Well, I can explain it to myself. Now, you get something straight. I wouldn't trade your ornery hide for all the hoodlums in Arizona territory.
Thank you, boy.
No, don't thank me. No, sir, if I'd have lost you, Roscoe would have kicked me all the way out of town. Star or no star.
Where's your prisoners?
Clanton out foxed me. He had an ambush planted on the least likely trail to Benson.
You had to let the prisoners go?
That's right. The shotgun was hit bad. He's over in the hospital now.
Wyatt, you can't afford this politically.
I know that. You'll just have to get yourself another sheriff.
No. Blame it on Doc Holliday. Tell them he steered you wrong.
I wouldn't do that if I was elected governor. You be the politician.
Where does that leave you?
I'll catch up with the Clanton boys one of these days. What's the matter? You aim to play along with Clanton?
He has the power in these parts, Wyatt.
Yeah, for now he has. But I have friends in guns, too. You be careful how you pick your side. This is for blood.
There's 4 Clanton cowboys that killed the Wells Fargo guard. You turn them loose?
Had no other choice. Ran into a Clanton ambush. Shotgun was hurt. You yourself said that he might have died.
Yeah. Well, get a posse together. As many as you need to catch them.
Doctor, those men are guarded by 100 top guns. I'll not have amateurs killed, and they would be fighting the Clantons.
What? Doctor? John. Wyatt doesn't want to use a posse.
Any other way, Wyatt?
Yes, sir. Go after them one at a time.
You'll never make it alone.
Doc, I don't want men to die backing me up.
Well, that's very commendable, Wyatt. It does you credit, but it's quite unrealistic. I'm going to run an editorial asking for volunteers for a posse.
Well, I can't stop you, but I'm going to get those killers my way.
Wyatt, you're a fool.
Now, you listen to me. You take a posse out there, you're going to have a running gunfight for miles. You can count on at least a dozen men getting killed or wounded.
Had ideas of their own.
You haven't told me the idea yet, Behan. Drag a man all the way to Tucson.
You'll be told, Mr. Clanton. Dan Pretty and the boys are waiting. They want to talk to you first.
Well, I ain't surrendering, my boys, for no necktie party in Tombstone. Worst idea you fellas come up with yet, and let me tell you...
Hold on, Clanton. Keep your temper.
Temper? I'm as mad as a Gila lizard with a bullet in his tail.
All
I'm
right,
ready
now that'll do. Sit down and listen.
Drag a man all the way to Tucson.
Washington and Governor Fremont have signed the order creating Cochise County.
Let me see them papers.
You'll have to surrender your boys. After all, we can't have a scandal in our new county the first week.
I told you I wouldn't let my men hang.
They won't hang. They won't even get a jail sentence.
Well, why don't you say so?
What we're trying to tell you is they're going to be fine. You have our word for it. You wouldn't doubt our word, would you?
Well, you never lied to me yet, Daniel. I'll tell the boys turn themselves in.
Fine. Oh, ask Johnny Behan to step in, will you?
Good morning, gentlemen.
You've been made sheriff of Cochise County.
It went through.
I told you it would. How many witnesses is Wyatt Earp against the Clanton Cowboys?
Just one. Jake Devers, the stage driver.
Where is he?
Under guard in a hotel.
You see to it that he doesn't testify.
But, gentlemen, are you asking me to...
Oh, shut up, Behan. You don't have to do the job yourself. Hire the job done.
Well, yes, sir. Gentlemen.
Men wanted. 4 Clanton cowboys murdered the guard of a Wells Fargo stage last week. Marshal Wyatt Earp will lead a posse to arrest these men. The editor of the Epitaph has signed his name as first volunteer. All able-bodied men for law and order will sign their name. I'll sign mine.
I'll sign too.
Well,
I don't know. This is that back work is one that's going to come the same thing.
Howdy, Wyatt.
Oh, hi, Johnny. Where you been?
Tucson. Meet the new sheriff of Cochise County.
Hey, congratulations. You can hang on to this.
You could have had the job.
Oh, I doubt it. 10% ring, they wouldn't stand for it.
You can still be my chief deputy.
Well, I'll have to kind of think about that for a while. And by the way, there's your first job.
Job?
Yeah, Mr. Clum is organizing a posse to go after the Clanton gunmen. Since Marshal White has no jurisdiction in the county, it'll be your duty as the new sheriff to lead him in.
Oh, that won't be necessary. I've already sent word for Clanton's boys to give themselves up.
You mean Pony Deal and the others are just going to ride in here and surrender?
It's all arranged. Let me buy you some coffee while we talk about the chief deputy job.
I'll be glad to have one with you later, but right now I better tell Mr. Clum. No use in having a posse now.
A new county.
Yep.
Now, you say John Behan's going to be sheriff of this new county?
That's right.
And he's going to have the Clanton men surrender themselves,
That's what he said.
Well, it sounds rotten to me, White. I wonder where the fix is.
Well, he couldn't have fixed Judge Spicer.
No, that's true enough. He, talked to you about your legal status?
Well, I turned down the job as sheriff. He offered me the job of his chief deputy.
Well, that settles it. I'm going to call a meeting of the Citizens Protective Committee, White. I've known Johnny Behan in Tucson. I knew him again in Prescott. Of course, he's ingratiated himself here by helping to raise the hospital fund. But I think he's a member of the 10% ring.
So do I.
You what?
Well, I don't know, Miss Nellie. I think we ought to wait and see.
Wyatt, you're going to be his chief deputy?
No, I'm not a deputy sheriff anymore. The only jurisdiction I have is in federal cases.
Yes, that's right, isn't it?
Then what can we do?
I'd say we get Mr. Clum appointed acting mayor.
Oh, no.
Now, Randall is under charges of malfeasance. He left town yesterday.
Then the other members of the city council can't object much if you, Doctor, and Miss Nellie insist.
That's right. I don't think they'll want to expose themselves.
Well, now, wait a minute, Miss Nellie. That's nice of you to say, but... well, I'm a newspaper man, not a politician. I can't be mayor.
John, this is an emergency.
He'll only have to serve until we can hold an election. The idea is for you to appoint Wyatt deputy city marshal under Marshal White.
Well, that's a good idea.
It's more than just a good idea. It's our only defense against Behan. Well, I've got to get back to the office. I move the meeting adjourned.
Just a minute, Doctor. I think my appointment ought to be kept secret for a day or so. And if Behan is a member of the 10% ring, well, he may show his hand.
I'm for that.
Well, I agree. Miss Nellie?
Went back to the hospital?
Heard?
Yeah.
allowed. Good night, Miss Nellie.
Good night, Doc.
Good night. Good night, John. Wyatt.
Good night.
Good night, Wyatt.
Good night.
Wyatt.
Oh, hello, Johnny.
What was that all about? You know, if you're going to be my chief deputy, we shouldn't have any secrets.
Well, I've decided against that, Johnny.
Why?
Well, you're a politician and I'm not. Well, I don't think we get along.
How do you figure?
Well, there's one thing you haven't told me. How come old man Clanton would surrender his boys to you?
A lawyer advised it. They don't think you have a case.
You agree with him?
Well, it's your case. I wasn't sheriff when the killing happened. I'm just helping out. If you'd throw in with me, we could split $40,000 a year. Fees and bounties.
That's a lot of money. I better check on Doc. He's been in the poker game most of the night. See you later.
Ante up, Gibbs. Where's your money?
Most of it's laying right there in front of you two fellers.
Let's let him off the hook, Doc.
Well?
Doc and I has been whipsawing you. Three-handed poker always leads into temptation.
Well, you wouldn't cheat me, would you, Doc?
Bet your life I would.
Well, if that don't take all.
I'd cheat Wyatt, too, if he didn't know so much about poker. Speaking of the deacon.
Lock it again. Well, gentlemen, Mr. Johnny Behan is our new sheriff of our new county.
You're joshing.
No, official.
Is he wearing a gun?
He said old man Clanton is sending Pony Deal and the others in to surrender.
What's the fix?
I don't know. But we better get Mr. Devers over to another hotel. You're our only witness to the murder. We'll put him over at Miss Cashman's.
Well, that'd be a waste of energy. I'll go shoot Johnny Behan myself.
That isn't going to help.
I never did like Behan. This is the time we gotta go start shooting, Wyatt. I've told you that, and Shotgun's told you. We should have killed Pony and his boys without trying to bring them here for a trial they don't deserve.
Now, wait a minute. No fool's play, Doc. Behan's wearing a star this time.
That's right, Doc. They'd hang you for sure.
Maybe I can insult Johnny into drawing first.
No, they'd still hang you. Well, maybe I was wrong about Behan. We could have misjudged him.
It ain't likely. Here comes Pony and his boys.
There's only one reason they'd surrender to Behan. Are you satisfied now he ought to be killed?
He isn't worth hanging for. Mr. Gibbs, we're going to move Mr. Devers.
I ain't scared, Wyatt.
Well, I am. Doc, you give him a hand. I want to talk to those Clantons.
Well, Behan?
Don't say anything out here. Inside, quick. In here.
I want to know, has Devers been killed yet?
Not so loud.
Old man Clanton told us you'd have him killed by now.
I know, Pony. You wait in here. You've got nothing to worry about. You'll be told the whole thing later.
All right, but it better be good.
Oh, Wyatt. I just locked up the men you were after.
Well, thank you kindly. Any objection if I talk to him?
Not at all. Help yourself.
You must have known you'd hang. Somebody promised you an easy sentence or an acquittal?
We don't tell you what our lawyers are going to prove.
I see, an alibi. Well, I guess that could be rigged. I wish you luck.
Well?
They've rigged an alibi. Would you do anything about that?
Great Scott, why would I?
I'm trying to believe in you, Johnny, but you got those boys in here too easy.
Maybe they do have an alibi. The stage driver could have been mistaken.
No, he couldn't. They didn't even bother to keep on their masks.
You trying to get me mixed up in this? I did you a favor when I persuaded old man Clanton to send those fellows in.
Why would Clanton do you a favor?
Lots of reasons. I'm the sheriff now. I collect taxes. This is a new county. The old man doesn't know how he stands. And I won't take an insult from you or anyone else.
Well, if the shoe fits, Johnny, you call me out.
What good would that do? You're faster with a gun, but if you killed me, they'd hang you. Look, I tried to make you my chief deputy. And I tried to be friends, Wyatt.
I tried too. I needed friends in this town.
Everybody rise. Circuit Court of Cochise County, now in session. Judge Spicer presiding.
Order in the court. Mr. Behan, bring in the prisoners. You men are charged with the murder of Tony Briscoe, a Wells Fargo guard. How do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Mr. Earp, I believe you have an eyewitness.
Yes, sir. They're bringing him over from the hotel.
This here polecat shot our only wit.
Now, you could have just winged him. You might have been able to tell us who hired him to have it done.
It would have cost him his life to do it, just as it cost Jake Davis.
Now we haven't got a case.
You better toughen up, Wyatt. This is a shooting town.
I done the best I could, White. I called to him to halt. Besides, it ain't easy to wing a man with a 10-gauge slug.
Well, what's done is done. I'll have to go tell Judge Spicer. Take care of him. Our witness, Mr. Devers, has just been murdered, and his guards killed the murderer. But if the court will grant a continuance, I'm sure I can find the man or the men who had this done.
He never had no case against us, and now he admits it.
Sit down. Do you have any information which might lead to the men who hired the murderer?
Not right now, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Mr. Earp. The court cannot hold anyone without reasonable evidence. It is this court's unpleasant duty to dismiss the case.
Well, Doc, the judge turned them fellers loose.
Where's Johnny Behan?
Over at that fancy new office of his in the courthouse, I reckon.
Mr. Gibbs, it is my considered judgment that Johnny Behan hired that killer.
Yeah, mine too. But we can't hardly prove that.
This is my judge and jury. You go tell Johnny Behan that I'm gonna shoot him on sight.
And you just try that and they're gonna hang you.
Yeah, I know. They'll hang me. They haven't got much time left anyway. I don't know a better way for a man to die.
Doc, you're a mite sad.
Yes. I'll clear that up right now. It's just like clear, cool water running through a slightly fevered brain. Mr. Gibbs, you're a man of the frontier. How long do you think it'll be before Behan hires another gun to bushwhack Wyatt?
Yeah, it's got me worried, Doc. That feller today had one of them magnifying sights on his rifle. Picked off poor old Jake right betwixt us.
Mr. Gibbs, we're wasting precious time. We'd better get Johnny Behan out of this world right now before I have another coughing spell.
Now, Wyatt ain't gonna favor you killing him.
We'll present Deacon Earp with a fait accompli.
A fait a what?
Fait accompli. That's French for killing first and telling Wyatt later. Well, are you going to present the challenge, or do I have to expend precious breath?
No, you just keep your seat. I'll go tell that runny hog.
Mr. Gibbs, you're a prince of royal blood, sir.
Wyatt, it's too bad.
Oh, it's worse than too bad.
Well, all we can do now is try to link John Behan with the 10% ring. Here's your deputy marshal's badge. Pin it on.
Well, there's no point in warning Johnny what we suspect. We'll just let him get overconfident. We'll keep this hidden for a while.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Wyatt! You better come quick.
What's wrong now?
Doc and Johnny Behan are going to have a shootout over in front of the courthouse. Now, I favored it at first, but the more I got... Oh, that feller sure can move, can he?
Come on out, Sheriff. I want to see the kind of peace officer the ring sent to Tombstone. Behan, I said come out. And come healed.
Now, just a moment, Dr. Holliday. I want the witnesses to observe that you're drunk and you challenged me to a gunfight.
I'll give you the first shot. You draw first.
No, Doc.
Go on inside. I'll cool him off.
You'd better. If he shoots at me, he'll hang.
And you'll be dead. That's a fair exchange.
He means it. Go on inside.
I want him arrested for threatening me. I'm an officer of the law.
Get inside like I told you. Stay there and shut up.
All right, but I want the records to show that I didn't fear him.
Doc, you need some sleep.
You'll regret this to your dying day.
All right.
He's thrown in with the Clantons.
We can't prove that.
Deacon and Tombstone, you can't prove anything. You just shoot on a reasonable suspicion.
You can't arrest me, Earp.
Deputy Town Marshal, Mr. Clanton. You and your son are going to jail.
On what charge?
Shooting at a peace officer and galloping horses down Allen Street.
Well, I ain't going.
No?
No.
Let's go.
All right. Then what happened, Wyatt?
Well, then Judge Spicer fined them $50 apiece, sentenced them to a night in jail.
Well, the $50 fine certainly isn't important, but that night in jail, that's wonderful. Just wonderful.
Turn the Clantons loose?
I had no choice. Their lawyer came in with a writ of habeas corpus.
What do you mean you had no choice? They were sentenced by Judge Spicer. You could have kept them for 24 hours. You know that.
All right. I know that.
And I know something else, finally. You belong to the Clantons and the 10% ring.
Mr. Behan, among other things, you're a pipsqueak and a weakling.
You can't talk to me that way. Why not? I'm the sheriff. You'd better be careful.
No, you be careful. Now, you've gone too far today. You had my witness killed, got Pony Deal released, and now you let my prisoners go. 3 victories in one day. That's too many for a new sheriff. Now, don't you ever give me proof or I'm going to toss you in jail. And don't go for that gun. In your honor, my trigger finger just might slip.
Xin chào mọi người. Ở video trước mình đã hướng dẫn mọi người móc xong được 7 sợi tóc của hàng móc thứ 10 thuộc phần tóc của búp bê Gocho. Thì đến với video ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn mọi người thực hiện tiếp những sợi tóc tiếp theo của hàng móc thứ 10 này nha. Để móc tiếp lên sợi tóc thứ 8 thì trước tiên mình sẽ lên 8 mũi bính nha. 5, 6, 7, 8. Sau đó vòng lại và móc một mũi đơn. Tiếp theo là móc 6 mũi nửa kép. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sau khi đã móc được 6 mũi nửa kép thì mình sẽ bỏ qua 2 châm mũi và móc vào châm mũi thứ 3, một mũi trượt. Tiếp theo là móc lên sợi tóc thứ 9 nha. Mình cũng lên 8 mũi bính. Sau đó vòng lại, móc một mũi đơn. Tiếp theo là 6 mũi nửa kép nha. Mỗi châm bính của hàng móc này, của sợi bính này thì mình sẽ móc một mũi nửa kép và lặp lại cho đến hết dây bính nha. Sau khi đã móc xong, mình sẽ bỏ qua 2 châm mũi. Sau đó là móc một mũi trượt. Từ đây mình móc lên 8 bính để lên sợi tóc thứ 10 nha. 5, 6, 7, 8. Tiếp theo là vòng lại và móc một mũi đơn. Tiếp theo móc 6 mũi nửa kép vào 6 mũi bính còn lại nha. Năm và 6. Tiếp theo mình lại móc mũi trượt vào châm mũi thứ 3. Và bây giờ là móc lên sợi tóc thứ 11 nha. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sau đó là một đơn và 6 nửa kép nha. 2, 3, 4, 5 và 6. Tiếp theo bỏ qua 2 châm mũi và móc vào châm mũi thứ 3, một mũi trượt. Như vậy là mình đã móc xong được 11 sợi tóc của hàng móc thứ 10 rồi nha.